Rob Dauster here. I got Jeff Goodman with me.
Hell no.
John Fink.
Are we still live?
Field of 68 till I die.
I'm sorry, man. I blacked out.
Randolph Children.
DJ Khaled, you know the big DJ Khaled guy?
Hands brought up and in.
Goodman needs to be fired all the time.
Josh Pastner.
You're going to beat people, straight up.
You know the deal.
They have no swag. They have no nothing.
Terrell McNeil.
From the bluest of the blue bloods to the smallest of the mid-majors.
This is Field of 68 after dark.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thursday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. We are live at Mandalay Bay Sportsbook here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I got John Henson with me. I got Jeff Goodman with me. I got Terrence Oglesby with me. My name is Rob Dauster. We're live streaming on YouTube. We are on SiriusXM Channel 84. We are live on the Stadium app, and we are watching the end of this Washington State-Drake game right along with you guys here in the Sportsbook. This is where we got to start today, gentlemen, because it's been a wild day of college basketball. We saw the biggest comeback in the NCAA tournament since 2018 today. We saw 2 Atlantic 10 teams win. We've seen Big 12 teams win. We've seen favorites roll. We've seen Kansas. We've seen Michigan State. We've seen Gonzaga. We've seen everybody play well. The one team that did not play well, the Kentucky Wildcats, for the second time in 3 seasons as a top 3 seed. The Big Blue Nation goes down, loses to Oakland 80-76. My man Gohlke, we're going to hear from here in just a little bit, but I'm going to start with you, Jeff. What does it say about Kentucky? What does it say about the Wildcats? What does it say about the state of Big Blue Nation?
It's another disappointment. You know, they've had 4 straight disappointments when it matters most, right? Don't make the tournament the year after COVID. Then they lose to St. Peter's, first round. Last year, lose to Kansas State. Now this. Big Blue Nation's had enough. They've had enough. And I don't blame them. You're paying John Calipari as much as almost any coach in the country other than Bill Self. They want results when it matters most. They don't give a shit about regular season. They want to win now because that's what this sport's about. John Calipari right now might have coached his last game at Kentucky.
Henson?
Bold statement. I like that. But, yeah, they just – also Oakland, they were grown men. 22, 23-year-old older players.
24.
24-year-olds going against 18-year-old kids. So we don't talk about it a lot, but, I mean, they were seasoned. They weren't scared. And Kentucky just – they didn't defend. And when you see these upsets from NC States to these other – when you let a team get a little confidence and they start feeling good – it could get ugly, and that's what happened today.
I think it's – you talked about the older players.
Yeah.
That's what happened today with Oakland. That was a bunch of grown-ass men playing against some kids. Now, Antonio Reeves, I get that part. I get some of these other guys, Trey Mitchell. But by and large, Rocket Watt's older guy. Gohlke's 24 years old.
Yeah.
And it's not just him. It's Trey Townsend, an older player, who actually went to – what is it, camp. Back when he was little. Like, these are grown men who understand circumstance, they understand the situation, and they're playing with tons of confidence. Really an incredible performance by Oakland. But when you talk about Kentucky, this is a difficult situation all the way around because the fans are absolutely sick of it. Twitter's exploding. I think Kentucky basketball was trending 1, 2, 3, and 4 on Twitter all day long after that loss. But it's a $33 million buyout. That's not nothing. That's a lot of money, and I'm curious to see how things progress from here because Jay Wright talked about it after the game as well, alluding to older players. You can't have 18-year-olds right now, not with the way the portal is, not with the way these things are going. You need older guards and older players who understand these situations, and I think it's going to be tough sledding if Calipari keeps going in the same direction that he's going with these high-level freshman recruits. That's proven that it might be a little bit outdated. It might be a little bit outdated.
I'm with you, Big Blue Nation. I'm with you. I had Kentucky in my national title game. The national title game. Because that's what their upside is, right? Was. Now, that's what their upside was. But I think you guys are exactly right. Like we saw the downside and the risk that you take playing with younger players. I mean, look, Robert Dillingham, 2 for 9 from the floor. Reed Shepherd, 1 for 5 from the floor tonight, right? DJ Wagner, completely non-existent. The only guy that really showed up, AJ Reeves,
older
Antonio
guy.
Reeves, Trey Mitchell. The two fifth-year guys are the ones that came through for Kentucky when it mattered, and it wasn't enough. I do want to give credit real quick. We're going to get to this interview here with Gohlke in a second, but I want to give credit to not just him, right? He's going to be the story. He's the guy with the funny hairline and the funny name, and all he does is shoot threes. He got up 23s today, which is more than John Henson got up his entire basketball career.
I didn't hear what he said.
You said Gohlke got up more threes tonight than you got up in your career.
No way. No chance.
Yeah.
I shot 35 threes my last year.
There you go. But I want to give credit to the rest of the guys on that roster because down the stretch it was Trey Townsend making the big shots, right?
Yeah.
It was
he was
Rocket Watts
unstoppable.
getting into the lane, finding DQ Cole for the open three, the big three that clinched the game, right? And we said this earlier. Kentucky did what they needed to do to make that run, Jeff. But Oakland went out and won this game down the stretch. You got to give them credit for that.
No, they responded. Again, when Kentucky took the lead, you felt like, all right, that's probably it. But Oakland matched them. They matched them. They showed again that they weren't rattled, right? Reed Shepherd made a shot late, and you felt like, all right, you saw one go through the hoop. Here it goes. Well, they never were able to get that momentum. But going back to what you said, still about Big Blue Nation in Kentucky, because I think still it's important to note that John Calipari is owed $33 million. Okay, so this isn't going to be easy. It's not an easy decision. Mitch Barnhart, probably above him, probably above the athletic director at Kentucky. But this is one that's going to be now talked about, absolutely critiqued. And again, Calipari brought in John Welch before the year. It's not like he didn't make changes going into this season. You guys listen to what he said after the game. I didn't hear it. You guys said he really didn't take accountability. He threw his players under the bus more than
he did for some, but he also was like, hey, look, they didn't play the way that we played the last couple of weeks. And that's true. The problem is when he says Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham didn't play well, they didn't play well. He's not lying.
He also, they asked him about the portal. He said, no portal. I got a good class of guys coming in. We'll be fine, which is, I think,
kind of going back to that freshman thing.
It's outdated.
Yeah.
Like you said.
I talked to him about that. The one time I've talked to him in the last 13 years, it was when they got Oscar. And I said to him, if this works with the portal, will you stick with it? And he was completely non-committal. And then he said something today about he wants to help young kids. And I'm like, dude, young kids are, and he mentioned freshmen, whether they're 18 or 20, isn't that helping a kid? Yeah. Like, why does it have to be freshmen? Like, to me, you have to change. You have to change with the times. Mm-hmm. That means go to the portal.
Yep. All right, let me ask, I want all you guys to weigh in on this, right? Jeff, I'm going to start with you. This is not you reporting anything. This is you making a prediction and making an assumption. Will John Calipari be coaching at the University of Kentucky in November of next year? Yes or no?
My guess is that John Calipari's coached his final game at Kentucky. That's what I think. I don't think he'll be at Kentucky next year. I think they'll figure this thing out. Now, he's not going to leave money on the table. Trust me. He is not going to walk away. But can something be done there where maybe he gets paid most of it? Again, there's an offset here. If he gets another job, you're not going to have to pay him $33 million.
Yep. As we sit here watching,
it's coming.
Sanford has cut the Kansas lead down to 4 points with 6 minutes and 18 seconds.
Somebody let Mike Miller know I was right. Mike, if you're watching, LOL, sir. I told you.
They didn't win yet.
I said it would get down to single digits.
And if you hear any cheering in the background, we have a big NC State contingent here tonight. They are all very big fans of John Henson, by the way. Let me just tell you.
I've seen more 80-year-old women come up and rub his shoulders than I've seen in a long time.
That was a Carolina Tar Heel alum.
Okay.
There you go.
Fair enough.
She said me and Bobby Jones were the best two Carolina defenders she'd ever seen.
There you go.
Bobby Jones.
Me and Bobby Jones.
So,
there we go.
Jones was an elite defender.
Exactly.
You got robbed. You didn't get Defensive Player of the Year. You got robbed. You are our National Defensive Player of the Year.
I appreciate that.
Henson, is Cal coming back to Kentucky? Will he
I think he is. I also think it's a little bit of a blip with all these older players, the COVID year and all that stuff. It'll eventually balance out. I don't think you can.
The power will go back to the freshmen.
Yeah.
It eventually will.
Yeah.
But I think, sorry to interrupt you, first of all. But I think with this extra year of eligibility finally kind of moving its way out, there's going to be more power go back to the freshmen. But I do think that it's forever changed just because of the portal and the immediate access to all those players.
And look at Carolina. If they don't get those two guys out of the portal,
right?
Cormac Ryan's 26, Harrison Ingram, they're nowhere near as good. And when you look at Miami, Coach Larinaga told me, he said, hey, we needed one more guy. We tried to get Cam Spence. We tried to get Cormac Ryan. We couldn't, and it torpedoed us.
Yep. And I think the Carolina way of doing that, guys, is probably the way to get it. You got RJ, you got Armando, that you retain those guys for 4 years. You have two big-time transfers that come in, and then you have a young freshman in Elliot Cadeau. It's a blend of all those. So I think that would be kind of the prototype of how you want to do it, and Sanford is making a run. Sorry. I actually think he will be back. I think $33 million is a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
Hey, Vandy just paid Jerry Stackhouse about 20-something million to go away. So, and they don't really care about basketball that much.
I think he's probably gone. I don't think it ends up being $33 million that he gets paid to go away. I think it is something in the middle, and I think that he finds another job so that he gets offset. I don't think that he's sitting out next year. He's not going to be on the field of 68 with us. That's for sure, no matter what happens. But I think that he's probably coaches last
year. Should go to Louisville
at the University.
Just switch over. Just enter the portal. Hit Louisville.
I said that. How funny would that be if he went to Louisville? They need a coach, right?
The portal,
They need a coach, bad. They start getting some players.
Coach portal.
Hey, you know what he could do? He could bring DJ Wagner with him.
There you go.
All right. I want to flip this because I want to talk about Greg Kampe, he deserves something like this. He deserves a moment like this. Goodman, I know you're close with him. How happy are you to see this for him?
I mean, listen, this dude's been there for what? How many years? 40? 40 years at the same school. It's insane at a place like Oakland. You know, he hasn't been a chaser. He's not trying to get another high major job. Obviously, if it could have happened for him, great. They go into a different league, the Horizon. They haven't been in the tournament. They haven't been in the tournament in a while. Sanford now cuts it to one. Comes all the way back. Bucky ball. But listen, this is one of those moments, again, Greg Kampe knows this is towards the end of his career. This is one of those moments he'll never forget, obviously. And taking a team, he plays such a fun style, right? He's older, yet he's adapted. He's really adapted and allowed these young guys to play a style that they want to. It's easy to recruit to, isn't it, Tio?
Yeah, it certainly is. Good for him. He was serving McDonald's drive-thru last week. Just to kind of get people excited about the tournament after they won their league. Really cool story. We're not going to see, we alluded to this earlier today when we talked about Kentucky initially losing. Like, you're not going to see many 40-year head coaches. No. Like, it's not going to happen. I think the guy that you could probably expect to do that may be John Shire. But even then, you're going to have to stay ahead of the.
You're out of your mind.
I know, but even there, you're going to have to stay ahead of the mob because you're prone to have 1 year where it's not good. So it's a really unique situation. It's something that I think we need to appreciate while it's here because it's not coming back. Right. It's not coming back.
I love the quote that we got from Jack Gohlke at his press conference earlier today, where he said, I'm not going to play, I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, I'm not going to play in the NBA like some of those guys, but I can compete. That got me fired up, T.O.
That got me fired up.
That got me fired up.
Little does he know Spolestra is going to be playing him 15 to 20 minutes next year.
Also, little does he know the next game, someone is going to be on him like white on rice.
But they've been like that on him all year.
Yeah. He only shot four shots in beside the perimeter for a whole year. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, 4 or 8 shots.
They were on him like white on rice in this game. Like some of those shots he was hitting were ridiculous.
You got to high side him and make him go. You got to high side him and send him back. You got to,
I'll tell you this, out of all the memes, all the jokes, everything I've seen so far about Jack Gohlke, to me he looks the most like Zelensky from Tommy Boy. A guy played by Dan Aykroyd. So his name's Gohlke. He makes threes for the American working man because that's who he is and that's who he cares about. Let's go to that interview with Jack Gohlke and Jeff Goodman right now.
All right, now pleased to be joined by, the hero of the day, Jack Gohlke. And Jack, it's been a crazy day for you. If I told you that you were going to make 10 threes and upset Kentucky today when the day started, when you woke up this morning, what would you have said to me?
I would have told you that's the plan, and sounds good to me. I mean, I don't know if I would have told you I was going to make 10 threes, but I was pretty confident going into the game that we were going to win. And obviously, Kentucky's a tremendous team, but we went into it with that mentality of we belong here and we're going to prove it. So that's really just what it comes down to, having that confidence.
All right, so tell me what it was like, though, because you've done this before. Now, again, it was last year against Ashland University. Little different, right? Little different against Ashland than Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. But just describe to me what is going through your head when you've got the ultimate green light and you're just making everything, especially in that first down.
Yeah, it's different, but it's the same, because once you get on that court, and especially once you get kind of rolling and in a little bit of a flow, you kind of forget everything else that's around you, and all you see is the hoop and your teammates, and they were doing a great job setting screens for me, getting me the ball. So at the end of the day, yeah, it's different, but it's the same, and it just takes a lot of hard work to be able to have that green light coach and my teammates, but they believe in me, and I appreciate that.
All right, I got to know, coming out of high school in Wisconsin, same high school, I believe you can pronounce it for me, that JJ and TJ Watt, or the same town, maybe same high school.
Yep.
So who recruited you? Like, you go to Hillsdale, Division II school. Why were you not more heavily recruited, and who are you choosing between?
Hey, man, I'll be the first one to tell you I wasn't good enough. I was good enough to go to Division II Hillsdale, but I had to get a lot better while I was there as well. I couldn't blame anybody but myself. I knew I was a good player, but there's a lot of work to be done to get better. And I never really, once I got to college, imagined being on this type of stage, but I knew I was capable of it if I put in the work. And I'm lucky enough to have been here.
So what are you, 6 years? Are you 23?
24.
24. All right, so 24, and we've said this all year, with kind of the extra COVID year, I think it shrinks a little bit in terms of the gap between maybe some of the mid-majors and the high majors. You're going up against future pros. You know that from Kentucky, Dillingham, Shepard. These guys are going to be first-round picks. How much of a difference do you think it is and an advantage for a 24-year-old against some of these freshmen?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the experience of, obviously I haven't been in an exact atmosphere and situation like this, but I've always wanted to be here. And I've just seen so much over my basketball career, whether it's defensive coverages, offensive sets, offensive schemes. There's just a lot of basketball that you learn in 6 years of college. And I've been lucky enough to have this extra year due to COVID, and lucky enough that Coach Campy and the guys invited me in to be a part of this special group, and it's just been awesome.
Yeah, they didn't just invite you in. Like, Campy just gave you the green light, didn't he? I mean, you didn't take it. Listen, every shot you took tonight was a three. And does he yell at you if you don't take threes?
He doesn't yell at me, but if I shoot a two and it doesn't go in, he's going to be like, why would you not just either take the three or swing it and then get the ball back at some point?
Yeah, it's not bad to play for an old school coach who is new school, you know, in terms of analytics and how he coaches. All right, so I hear that your version of trash talking, I'm going to make you do this. Your version of trash talking is barking like a dog. I want to hear this. Jack, I want to hear this. Let's go.
Well, I've never done it for the camera, but I'll do it for you.
And I want to know, okay, so when you do that, did you do it tonight?
I did do it tonight, but I don't really do that during the game. That's more like a shoot around or a pregame warm-ups type of thing. That's from Hillsdale. That's a shout out to Coach Tharp. That's something that his program does.
So when you did it tonight, you did it during the game?
No, pregame,
you did.
Pregame.
Okay, you didn't. I thought you said you did it tonight during the game at all. Okay, all right.
Welcome back to the Field of 68 After Dark Thursday night, night one of the NCAA Tournament. John Henson, Jeff Goodman, Terrence Oglesby. I'm Rob Dauster. Henson, we now have a game that is going to be played between Oakland and NC State for the right to get to the Sweet 16. You're riding with NC State out of ACC solidarity, right?
I'm not going to lie.
Go Wolfpack.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm done fading NC State. I'm a believer. I'm done fading them. They're playing with this continuity, that the confidence. When I saw them early in the season, I always thought they were very talented, and now it's coming together. And anytime you win 5 games in a row, I don't know what I was thinking about taking Texas Tech, but they're rolling. So we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely taking NC State. I'm leaving the Wolfpack alone. I'm sorry.
Their front line was so good tonight. You're watching, and again, you're one of the best defenders man defenders that's come out of college basketball in the last 20 years. DJ Burns, what's it like to watch him?
We'll be right back after.
We're coming right back. Jeff Goodman will get that question answered, I promise. The best month of the year is here, which is why you need to know that we are now partnered with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 all through the NCAA tournament. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not that bet hits. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $10 of your hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you get up to $1,500 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Most importantly, we do have some fun stuff coming for the conference tournaments and especially for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boost, and what I love the most, a nice parlay boost for anything you could possibly imagine betting on in the NCAA tournament, from odds and getting an at-large bid to Final Four futures to the highest seed to make to the Sweet 16. I'm calling it right now. BetMGM is the king of the prop bet for your March Madness needs. So go download the BetMGM app, use the code FIELD, and sign up today. And while I've got you, a quick request: the best way to support the Field of 68 and our content you get for free is to engage with us. Rate and review the pod, like and share the YouTube videos, tell your friends about us. It helps in a world where the algorithm is king. And now, back to the show. Welcome back to the Thursday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. We are live at Mandalay Bay Sportsbook. We are streaming on SiriusXM. We are on Stadium, and we're live over on YouTube. Jump in the chat, ask us some questions. Hit that like button, too. You know, we don't get as many likes as I would like, considering the number of views we would get. Smash that like button. You're allowed to do that. All right. We had 3 Hall of Famers in action today on teams that were criticized all season long, and everybody doubted them coming into the tournament. Mark Few and Gonzaga, Bill Self in Kansas, who are taking a 7-point lead now with about 2.5 minutes left. It looks like they're going to be able to win this game. And Tom Izzo and Michigan State. First game of the day, Michigan State, Mississippi State. I had Mississippi State in the Sweet 16. T.O. had Mississippi State in the Elite Eight. Michigan State sent them packing after one game. T.O., what did you make of Michigan State's performance, of Jaden Akins, of Tom Izzo rallying these guys? Why did we doubt this dude winning the game in the tournament?
Because we hadn't seen a lot of this stuff all year. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Like, it's been a pretty mediocre Michigan State team, but it's March, so they flip it around. They really haven't been that good. Jaden Akins has had a hard year, but today he was spectacular. There's no other way to put it. He was that good. He was flying all over the floor. He had a dunk going middle today that was just absurd over top of somebody, and they were hitting shots. They were just different today. And Mississippi State, poor guys, they just couldn't get it going at all. Couldn't get it going at all. Michigan State was more physical. They boarded better, and they hit shots, and that's a tough 3 things to go up against.
Listen, we knew they could do it.
Yeah.
But
that's the reason we predicted them to do that at the beginning of the season.
Jaden Akins, to me, was always the key. He and Hogarth, right? And they both played like their B-plus game. Hogarth took care of the ball, made good decisions. Izzo knew he could trust them today. Jaden Akins made shots. You knew what you're getting from Tyson Walker. Malik Hall's been pretty good for the most part. When all 4 of those dudes are on, you don't need anything down low offensively.
Yep.
But those 4 dudes have been on how many games? How many games? Never.
I think it was just a master class in game management with the lead. They got the lead. They slowed down. They got good shots. And if you look at today, even with the Oregon game, Dana Altman, having a coach that has been there and knows what he's doing matters. I don't care what you say. You saw it today 3 or 4 times.
Unless their name is Dusty May last year.
Yeah, unless your name's Dusty May, but there's less Dusty Mays here than not. But yeah, then down the stretch, them just picking apart that zone and getting good looks at the rim. Mississippi State having to speed up a little bit, force it, and it was just a master class in game management and winning the game, and Michigan State looked good.
That game feels like it happened 6 years ago.
Yes, absolutely it does. It helps, guys, when Michigan State shoots 43% from three.
Yeah.
Something that hasn't been happening all that much. And quite frankly, guys, we did what they knew they would do. They out-rebounded them. They were just tougher. They were more physical. And like Jeff said, the swing guy, Jaden Akins, was more aggressive. He didn't shoot it. He wasn't the most efficient guy, only 6 of 14. But him being aggressive opened up things for the rest of his guys.
You know, it's funny that you say that because this Mississippi State team is built on being the tougher, more physical, defensive-minded.
They weren't today.
Going to hit the glass, not going to let you penetrate. They're going to hedge hard on ball screens. Like, they are built to blow up what Michigan State does. And Michigan State was like, yeah, that's cool. That's fun. Watch this. I was really impressed with that.
I'm happy, too, for all those guys you mentioned, right? I mean, we want them in the tournament, right? Tom Izzo, Mark Few, Bill Self, they're good for the game. They're good to move on. You know, again, you love having the combination, right? I mean, I love having Campy and Oakland in there, too. You need some Cinderellas, but you need some big boys, and those are big boys.
Right. Yep. All right, we also have Gonzaga winning. I think the trendiest upset pick that we had this week was Will Wade at McNeese State beating up on Gonzaga. I had him. As soon as I saw that the bracket come out, I said, I'm picking that. I am taking McNeese State. I'm betting on Will Wade. I'm doing that. And you know what Gonzaga said? Yeah, good one.
Gonzaga said, I have a TV, and you guys think we're going to lose against McNeese State? No, sir. They came out motivated. You saw that. And they've been trending up under the radar. And one thing about Gonzaga, they're 31-0 after a loss. That should have told you all you need to know.
Yep. Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Will Wade, great. They won the Southland, and they dominated it. We saw that, again, Mark Few still has enough talent. They're not deep, but if Nolan Hickman plays well, they've got enough balance to beat a team like that. And like Henson said, I think they were ultra motivated. I think Mark Few knows what buttons to push at this point in his career, and he pushed the right ones.
I think Nolan Hickman hitting 2 threes at the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game was huge. Dusty Stromer coming in, the freshman coming in with some confidence. He knocked down 2 threes. That was big. I'm just going to say it. Like, Will Wade didn't have enough horses in the barn today.
No.
Like, and here's another thing about it. McNeese had open shots. Not a few. They had a lot of open shots. They were missing layups. They were missing pull-up jump shots. They were missing swing, wide open shots in the corner. Just didn't have enough. When Shahada Wells goes 6 of 25,
you don't got a chance.
You're not going to win many games, and that's just the bottom line. You need your best player to be great whenever you're going up against a power team like a Gonzaga. That just didn't work out. Tough way all the way around. Good season for Willie the Kid and the Cowboys, but Gonzaga, when they're playing with confidence and they're hitting shots, it's a different Gonzaga team because it spaces the floor that much more.
Yeah, and what they're built on big guys, right?
Yeah.
Like they've scrapped this idea of Anton Watson could be a small ball 4, right? They scrapped this idea of we have 3 guards that can play at the same time. They're going the opposite of what modern basketball is. They play 2 bigs and they play Anton Watson, who at times last year was a small ball 5 for him at the 3. And oh, by the way, Anton Watson tonight, 13 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Not bad. Not a bad line for him. So I think what we saw was the limitations of buying into a team because they dominate the Southland. The Southland is the Southland after all. Hell of a season for Will Wade. Hopefully he stays at McNeese State for 1 more year. I'd love to see them be able to load up on a little bit more. He's gone.
He's got to get out of there.
He's going to Kentucky.
Imagine Will Wade at Kentucky.
He would. He would turn that thing up over there.
Yes,
He would
will.
turn up. I think SMU is a place to watch for Will Witt.
Yep.
Yes. You mentioned Oregon earlier, and I do want to touch on that game because what Dana Altman's been able to do, like getting into the tournament, winning games that no one expects them to be able to win games. We talked about it on the pregame show. Last time they snuck in as a bid thief out of the Pac-12. They won 2 games as a 12 seed, made it to the Sweet 16, almost picked off Virginia. So we got a minute left in this Kansas-Sanford game. We'll talk about that afterwards. But I want to dive into Oregon. I mean, look, when you have N'Faly Dante playing as well as he's played, and Jermaine Couisnard going for 40 and 5 assists.
This guy called it.
He did.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I did call it. Jermaine Couisnard revenge game because he was with Frank, I believe.
Yeah.
And then when Frank was fired and goes up to UMass, Couisnard transfers out. He goes to Oregon. He was going to come out aggressive today. We all knew that. Goes for 40 big ones. An Oregon program record in the NCAA tournament. What a performance by him. I thought more it had to do this year with whether or not those young players came along. Well, the young players can be just fine if you have a guy going for 40. And Dante, N'Faly Dante, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, that is an all-American level rim protector when he's healthy.
And
The problem
he's
is
finally healthy.
he hasn't been healthy. He is finally healthy, and you saw the impact he could make today.
Yes. I will add Jermaine Couisnard.
Awesome.
Going for 40 tonight. First time a player on a double-digit seed has scored 40 points in a game where that team won since Steph Curry
Saw that.
in 2008 when Tennessee Davidson beat Gonzaga. He's the first player to go for 40 points and 5 assists in an NCAA tournament game since – anybody got it? Anyone know? Anyone know?
Go ahead.
You're the trivia guy.
1988, Hersey Hawkins.
Oh, Hersey
Legend
Hawkins
Hersey Hawkins.
scored.
Where'd he go to college?
Bradley.
Ooh, nice. Good job.
I was born in 1988.
I mean, I think Oregon just bullied them.
Yep.
Just we're bigger, stronger, and that's for a South Carolina team that's pretty physical. That was impressive,
They
Yeah.
were men.
Yeah.
That's what they built their whole season on.
and they just couldn't do anything with Dante. And it just started from there. They're bigs. They were blocking shots, and I was surprised to see South Carolina lose like that. They just got outmanned.
well, I mean, that's
Here's
the thing.
here's the downside of the portal a little bit.
Yeah.
Because when you look at Oregon, you see a lot of bodies. N'Faly and Dante. You see Kwame Evans. You see Jackson Shelstad. You add one in Jermaine Couisnard that's awesome. Look at that length and athleticism for that Oregon Ducks team. Look at the length and the athleticism for South Carolina, who's been terrific all season long. Lamont's done a great job. The problem you run into is when you take a bunch of guys from the SoCon, they don't have that same level of length and athleticism.
Oh!
Wow. And
Hunter
Throw on
Dickinson,
top
can you
of-
play some defense? Jesus.
Sanford
Quicksand.
is not going away.
Look at this. Look at those
is.
stone feet.
Look at that.
a chore.
That was terrible.
My
Hey,
goodness.
hey, Tia, you know what it is when you try to guard him?
A chore.
A chore. Last thing, just to put a bow on Oregon, South Carolina.
real quick. But I think if you look at the beginning of the season, Oregon coming into the tournament, they finally found their stride to go along with all those athletic bodies. That's kind of what I'm getting at a little bit, where South Carolina is going to hit their stride into December, January. It took Oregon a little bit longer because of the youth, for example.
Yeah. Listen, when we come back, we're going to be reacting live to what will likely be the end of this Kansas-Sanford game. We have a lot more to get to as well. Wild Day of College Hoops. That's next.
By now, you guys have surely heard about Autograph, an app founded by Tom Brady with the intention of disrupting the way that fans consume content covering their favorite teams. This is how the app works. All of the podcasters, bloggers, and digital creators covering a team have their content sent to that team's page in the Autograph app. Instead of having to bounce from site to site or trying to navigate the safer workspaces on Twitter, you can just scroll through Autograph. This isn't a hard sell. This is the truth. I am a UConn fan, and I use the Autograph app to keep up with the writers I read and the pods that I listen to about UConn basketball. The best part is that every piece of content that you consume gives you reward points. The more you get, the more chances you have at things like discounted tickets to games and the grand prize, a trip to the LA Regional and a spot in a suite for the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games. Here's the best part. We've partnered with Autograph to donate $1 to the V Foundation every time someone downloads the app using the code F68, with a minimum of $2,500 getting donated. The app is free. So download, use the code F68, help us raise a little bit of money for cancer research and give Autograph a try. I promise you it will be worth it. And while we're here, a quick reminder, make sure that you subscribe to the Daily. We have new landing pages with deep dives into each coaching change, as well as a tracker that provides scouting reports on the transfers that have entered the portal that you are going to want to know about. Hit the link below to subscribe.
Well, welcome back to the Thursday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. Rob Dauster, John Henson, Jeff Goodman, Terrence, Oglesby, Sirius XM Channel 84. We're streaming on Stadium and on YouTube. Make sure you jump in the chat, ask us some questions. Guys, there's 22 seconds left in this Kansas-Sanford game. Kansas is up by 4. We'll talk about that in a second. What I do want to touch on first is the 6-11 upsets that we saw today, right? 3 of them happened, which make you very nervous for tomorrow. New Mexico playing Henson.
Oh, boy.
I want to start with North Carolina State. We touched on them a little bit earlier, right? But this is the team that got, I'm going to do some math here on the fly, they got 54 points, 54 of their 80 points from their big guys, Muhammad Diarra, DJ Burns, and Ben Middlebrooks. Henson, how far can this team go? They got a chance against Oakland to get to the Sweet 16. Like, can they go further than that?
Like I said earlier, I'm leaving them alone. I'm on the NC State side right now. They're just clicking on all cylinders. They look good. Their big men Middlebrooks had 21 from 6 of 8 shooting. I don't think anybody would have overcame that. He looks good, and him and Burns are starting to develop to this 1-2 punch where they can interchange. Oh, okay. They're starting to become this 1-2 punch with Diarra.
Oh, shit.
Who's defending. And they're going to be tough to beat. I think they beat Oakland to get to the Sweet 16 and go from there.
All right, we're going to do a little live reaction.
Oh, no! Anyway, we're watching the end of this game.
Oh, my
here.
gosh.
We're watching the end of the game. Nick Timberlake just got fouled. 15 seconds left. He's going to head to the line here. How – you know what? Let's just talk about this game.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. That's a block. It's clean.
That's a block.
That is
unbelievable. Of the block.
Oh, wow. Incredible.
Terrible call.
And, Nick Timberlake is going to be heading to the line for 2 shots. He's played well, guys. He's played well.
What a play.
He's played well.
A.J. Staten McCray.
Yeah.
Acting different.
What are they reviewing right now? What are they going to the –
They're checking for a flagrant.
There's no way you can give them a flagrant on
They
that.
deserve – they deserve the tie, whatever it may be.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
What an athletic play.
Hey, let me ask you guys this. There's 2 things that I want to know about. First of all, are you surprised that Sanford was able to make this comeback?
Are you surprised that they gave Kansas that foul call?
Yes.
No.
Not at all.
Yes, because it's not at Allen Fieldhouse.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Are you surprised that Sanford was able to make this comeback?
No, I predicted this.
Why?
Because it's a cumulative effect when you play Sanford and buckyball. These things happen. Whenever you're 10 deep and you press and press and press, it's a cumulative effect. You're not going to see the end result in the first half. It's a full 40-minute duration of can you handle pressure. And whenever Sanford stays after you with those 10 guys, and Kansas is only playing 6 to 7 players, these things show up at the end of the game. It's not all going to happen in the first half. You're going to get down because you're going to open up the floor. It doesn't matter. Sanford stays with it. They stay after you. They maintain their pressure. And as a result,
they're going
to be down 3.
Does Kansas foul?
What is it? No, not with 14 seconds left. You got too much time. Turns into a free throw shooting contest. You trust your guys? Make free throws? That's why I wouldn't do it. Now with 14 seconds left.
Under 10 foul?
Under 10, yeah.
But this game's at altitude. Kansas is injured coming in. If Nicholas Timberlake isn't great today, Kansas loses this game running away. So, buckyball and what he's done at Sanford's downright impressive. I talked to him when he first got the job, his first year. Why make the jump from high school?
Coach,
he was at Mountain Brook High School. He makes the jump up to Sanford. He's like, well, I can win here. They want to win here. The support's here, and the campus is right up there at the top of the SoCon, and I feel like I can get players. And he's done exactly that.
Timberlake made the second, so it's a 3-point lead for Kansas. 14.7 seconds left. We're just gonna be your second screen experience watching this game.
It might as well
That's what we're gonna do here.
But Lamar
he knew he could
Simpson.
win.
Lamar Simpson with the missed call. The ref.
That was the that's who it was. Of course, you're gonna call him out and throw him under the bus.
No, but like you miss a call like that, you're gonna get called out. You're gonna.
Yep.
Lamar is a really good ref, but he missed that one. Short. Oh. And that's.
Yep. And it looks like this
Oh,
one's
she
gonna
wrote.
be over.
Well, I'm sure they're going to.
Sanford covers.
Sanford covered. Yeah, that is true.
Covers.
Sanford did cover. So what is this? Let's talk about this as if
Good
Kansas
teams
is gonna
win.
find a way to hold on.
Great teams cover.
Because I do believe. Let's make sure. Yep, that ball is.
It's a good call.
Yep, that ball is off Sanford. So Kansas is going to have the ball with with 2.4 seconds left up by 3. Kansas was able to survive, but they don't have Kevin McCullough. Hunter Dickinson. Well, he finished with 19 points, 20 boards, 5 assists, 4 blocks. I don't think we can call him hurt, T.O. I don't think we can call him hurt.
No,
right now.
I think his shoulder was feeling a lot better than what he even gave it credit for, because there were a couple of times earlier in the game where they were wrapping him up and fouling, and he was fine. So, obviously that's big for Kansas fans that Hunter's playing and playing well.
Yep.
Awfully thin. And I've heard a lot of people say depth is overrated in the NCAA tournament. I'm not sure I buy that.
Not when you're this thin.
I'm not
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like they don't have. What do they have? 3 guys, really. 3 dudes.
Yep.
I mean,
Timberlake played well today. That's number 4, and he hasn't done it all year. So if they do survive here, how much is that turnaround going to hurt them?
Well, you go back to Carolina, championship banged up, no bodies. Yeah. If they have 1 or 2 guys that can potentially come off the bench and just buoy them, they don't get ran down by Kansas for the championship. So depth does matter when it gets to a certain point.
Yeah, and it's not going to help them that they're missing Kevin McCullough, their star guy. Do they have a chance against Gonzaga? Right? Are we now? Is this going to flip? And are we now going to say, because they advance, assuming they win this, to play Gonzaga in the second round of the tournament? Are we going to be too bullish on Gonzaga now? Remember, this is Bill Self after all.
I mean, it's going to be a fun one to watch. Right? It's going to be a fun one. Neither team is.
Talking to the mic. When you turn your head, talking to the mic.
Neither team is deep, right? Gonzaga now, they've been the thinner team all year. Now they're actually the deeper team, which is crazy. Think about it. They got 7 dudes. They got far more depth. I just think this is going to really hurt Kansas. It's going to take a lot out of them. And to come back and 2 days later, I think it's going to be tough.
I don't know what the line's going to be, but Gonzaga's a lock.
A lock? A lock.
Lock.
Yeah. I don't know if they're a lock, but I would take the Zags as well.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what Saturday night.
They get it in.
That'll do it.
They almost had the turnover there. They almost had the turnover. Kansas is going to hold on to win this thing. And
somebody had
advance to
Kansas
the second round of the
back there.
tournament. I'll tell you what, that's a hell of a run for Bucky Ball. That's a hell of a run for Bucky McMillan.
The question is now, could Bucky Ball be involved at Vandy? Could he be involved? Chris Mack's involved. There's a couple other guys involved. But I'll tell you what, that dude's going to be good.
Yes.
Listen, I'm not sure if somebody hires him now as a high major. It's just a matter of time.
I'm with you. I think he's also a guy that's willing to stand firm, too, like stand pat for the exact right job. I think that's where Bucky's a little different. Now, he's a different guy now.
Yeah, he is.
He's not your typical old ball coach. He's a different guy. He thinks differently. I could see him staying at Sanford for 5-6 years.
No.
Until the right thing comes up. Until the right thing comes
No
up.
chance.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I
not 5 or 6.
You're oftentimes right. And
I'm
I'm wrong when it comes
wrong,
to
but
no,
I
right when it comes to coaching stuff.
5 or 6
you're
years,
oftentimes right.
you got to hit it. He's smart enough to know you got to hit it. He
That's
played
right.
poker.
Yep, he did play poker.
Yep. All right, I want to get to the A-10 here. I want to talk
What a
some about
bad
the
call
A-10.
on that block.
We'll start with Dayton and the comeback that Dayton made. They were down 56-39 with about 6 minutes left in that game.
17-0.
And they go on a run.
17-0?
Yeah.
I think 17-0.
It was a 17-0 run, and I think it was
25-7.
25-7 to close out the game to win it. Dayton comes all the way back to win to beat Nevada. Thoughts on that, Henson? Frustrated. You had Nevada.
Nevada stopped. One thing some of the more memorable games that I've lost as a player was having a lead and trying to conserve this lead and being scared and not being aggressive. And Dayton just jumped on them. They got the threes to fall. Nevada's aggression subsided, and then they look up and it's a ball game, and the pressure of the moment was too much, and Dayton overcame it.
Nah, there's not really much to say. I mean, Nevada just ran out of gas, and Dayton saved it all for the last 5 minutes. Like, that's just kind of what happened. The front court matchup was as good as advertised. Ron Holmes got to the line, 9 times, hit 8 of them. I thought Nick Davidson played pretty well for the most part. I do feel like, Nevada they had the weight of the world on their shoulders with the Mountain West and thinking, well, we have to hold up our league. It just kind of snuck up and bit them.
8-10, baby.
Yeah.
8-10. The only other league that's better, Pac-12, undefeated, baby.
Pac-12
Pac-12.
Atlantic 10 undefeated.
Pac-12 is going out in style.
I was really impressed with Dayton.
Yeah, listen,
really good. Like,
to come back like they did.
They're not all that deep either, right?
No.
It's not like they play 11 guys. They basically have a 6-man rotation and try to get a couple other pieces in there. Jerron Holmes was I thought he was really good down the stretch. Kobe Brea hit so many big shots for him. And
good
the
player.
thing that stood out to me more than anything else was as they're making that run in the second half, every time they had a shot where you're like, that's a big one. They need that one. It went in. And to me, that's a sign of a confident team, a team that's won a lot of games, and a team that has a certain expectation to be able to win. That wasn't the only team in the Atlantic 10 that won a game today. Duquesne, the Dukes, beat up on BYU. We were able to catch up with head coach Keith Dambrot, and we'll hear from him coming up next.
There is nothing better in sports than tournament time, which is why I need to tell you guys about our partners over at Rhythm. If you're into sports betting, you need Rhythm, the place for data-backed props and picks. For those that are unfamiliar, Rhythm, spelled RITHMM, is the go-to mobile app for player props and game picks. Backed by AI predictive models, Rhythm helps you make smarter and faster betting decisions across all sports, but particularly college basketball. With Rhythm, you get data-backed picks for every single Division I game every single day. Users get free picks daily with the ability to upgrade to unlimited access. If you want to increase your edge and win more bets, go to the link in the description and download Rhythm today. That's RITHMM, the place for data-backed props and picks. And while we're here, let me tell you about our newest partner for the month of March, SplashSports, the home of certified community competition, where you get to play against your friends and not the house. Whatever game it is that you are playing, from survivors to tiers to pick X, the safest way to play for real money without the hassle of having to track down deposits or worry about payments is through Splash. They have partnered with PaySafe, the best deposit and payment system in the world, to ensure that money stays in safe hands and is delivered to the right places. To join the Field of 68 Survivor Madness, click the link in our profile below and join in. Entries are $5 a pop with a prize pool of up to $4,500. Winner take all. Join Splash and come prove that you're smarter than us.
Welcome back to Thursday's Field of 68 After Dark. We are live, Sirius XM Stadium, Field of 68 YouTube channel. John Henson, Jeff Goodman, Terrence, Oglesby, Rob Dauster. Guys, Duquesne found a way to win. The first upset that we had of the day was the 11 seed Dukes knocking off BYU. Goodman, Keith Dambrot, you were able to catch up with him. How cool was it to see him finally get his first ever NCAA tournament win in his last ever NCAA tournament run?
Incredible, and again, we kind of just heard part of the reason he said he's so loose now because he knows this is it for him. Like, this is it. So he said usually he's tight, but now he's loose, and I think his team has kind of rallied around that a little bit. And it's just such a cool story, right? He's been through a ton personally. Dad passed a couple years ago. Obviously his wife is going through some stuff right now health-wise. And then you have the other A-10 coach, Anthony Grant. who lost his daughter a little over a year ago. So, like,
Yeah,
I couldn't be
story.
happier for these two guys who are high character coaches, people, to have something happen to them really, really good in their professional lives right now.
Yeah. Well, let's get into that interview. Jeff Goodman caught up with Duquesne head coach Keith Dambrot earlier today after their win over BYU.
All right, now pleased to be joined by none other, the storybook ending with Keith Dambrot, but it is not over, Keith, is it? It is not over after one game in the NCAA tournament. Congrats on a hell of a win against BYU.
Thanks so much, Jeff. I guess these guys don't want me to retire so quick, so they're going to make me work into April, hopefully.
I don't blame you. You're still getting a paycheck, so you got to earn it. You got to earn it till the very, very end. All right, so what was it like today? I mean, again, your first ever NCAA tournament win, and it comes in your final year of coaching. Coming in, obviously, a lot of emotions coming into this game, I'm sure, for you and your family.
You know what? I've never been more relaxed in my life, to be honest, Jeff. I don't know whether it's because it's coming to an end or my wife's been sick or, or all the hard work has kind of culminated into just letting the guys play at the end of the year. But I really felt no pressure whatsoever the whole game.
Talk a little bit, if you can, about your personal challenges, family challenges the last couple of years, because I know it has not been easy for you.
Well, it's been a hard job. I mean, I lost my dad, a couple of years ago. I drove every day after practice to see him, and then got up in the morning and drove to practice, and then every day back. That was hard. We were out of the gym for 2 years. And then my wife gets diagnosed. We had the worst season of my life, 2 years ago. So it's been a grind, but the biggest thing you find out is who really believes in you and who really sticks with you and who cares about you. And I kind of like that, Jeff, because I'm kind of an old school guy that believes in, hey, you got to stick with people when they go through the rough times.
So I assume the game plan today, because it should be for everybody with BYU, is somehow find a way to keep them off that 3-point line. And it's easier said than done, because when they're on, they're about as tough as anybody to defend from shooting threes. You held them to 8, which is pretty darn good. How were you able to do it today?
Well, first and foremost, we felt like we had to run when we had opportunities, but then we had to slow them to a grind when we didn't have opportunities, shoot it late in the clock, make them play a lot of defense, which takes their legs a little bit, kind of like what Davidson does to us. So we've had a lot of good, we had a lot of good training with Davidson, VCU, and Richmond, all doing similar things. But look, our guys played great defense. Look, we did a great job. They didn't get one back cut or one slip on us the whole game. And if you watch a lot of games that they play, they get a million of them. So all they got really was inside with the big guy, drives to the rim, which really isn't their forte. And then they made 8 threes, which, and then we tried to cut the volume of threes down. They shoot 34%, and they're trying to get more volume of threes. And we did a good job of running them off the line. They hit us in the mouth and we wobbled, and they hit us in the stomach and we wobbled, but we stayed on our feet and made enough plays to win.
It's great to see Keith Dambrot having success, and the longer that he can hang around with us and stay in the college basketball sphere is good. He's the kind of guy we might have to get on the field of 68 after dark next year when we decide to fire your ass.
I'm in. Listen, swap him out for me, and I don't know. I'll go out. I'll retire too.
Good.
But I'll really retire.
Then maybe we could have someone that actually knows how to talk into the microphone when they turn their head.
I'm trying to talk to Henson. I'm trying to talk to
the mic.
you.
Just bring the mic with you when you turn. I want to talk about the Mountain West. T.O., you were here in Vegas for 5
Overrated.
watching the Mountain West tournament, right? They are 0-3 today. Nevada blew a 17-point lead. Colorado State, oh, man,
They got smoked.
That was a very frustrating game to watch as someone that was holding a Colorado State ticket.
I don't blame Colorado
lost to
State for that
Texas.
one. I don't blame Colorado State. They played Virginia. The Virginia rubbed off on Colorado State in that first half.
And then Boise State lost to Colorado in the play-in game. So now, as of this moment, they are 1-3. Colorado State's only win came against the only team that everybody believes should not have been in the NCAA tournament. T.O., as our Mountain West expert, Break it down for me, man. What does it mean?
No, it's disappointing because Colorado State defended Texas well enough to win the game. They just didn't have enough offense, especially in the first half. You score 11 points in the first half, you're not going to win.
Scored
Point blank
points
period.
in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. They were abysmal, and Isaiah Stevens, it's kind of been the critique for him all year. You have to go get it. You have to understand where your team's at, why you can't create anything. You have to be that guy. He wasn't that guy today, and as a result, 11 points in the first half, that's never going to cut it.
Yeah, they just didn't have enough around Isaiah Stevens. That's the problem. They just
very unathletic in the front court, too. Very unathletic.
they just, again, Isaiah Stevens needs to be more of an alpha, and that's just not him. He wants to try to get everybody involved. Tonight, he had to try to do it all. He did, but again, he almost had to go for like 30, 35 for them to have a chance to win, and that's just not him.
I disagree with that because Colorado State missed so many open looks. They missed so many makeable shots, and some of that, Henson, is because that Texas had length around the basket, right? Okay, you don't have the most athletic front line. It's going to happen. You're not going to make everything at the rim when you got Caden Shedrick there. But you're Colorado State. You're supposed to be making these open threes.
And we don't talk about the travel game against Virginia, day travel, hotel. Like, that's an NBA-type schedule on the road. Well, they've been on the road 4 or 5 days now, essentially. That could have affected them a little bit as well.
You were just telling us about what the NBA travel schedule
Mountain
is like
West
for
is
you.
not used to traveling like that.
Well, I was going to say, I'm guessing that those players didn't have the same nighttime routine that you had.
Yeah, had an old ball coach tell me if you're going to hoot with the Owls, you got to be able to soar with the Eagles. That was the motto of my career.
All right. Can we take anything big picture out of this for the Mountain West? Or should we at least wait for, we got UAB San Diego State tomorrow at 1:45. We have New Mexico Clemson. Sorry, Tio, that might not go too well for your 6th seed Tigers. And we have Utah State and TCU, the second to last game.
I'm going
of the night.
Clemson tomorrow. More and more I look at it, I know New Mexico has the guard play, but we're going Tigers tomorrow, man.
The ACCs look good.
Let's go Tigers, man.
The
Plus
ACC
2.5, though. We're going to give them a couple points.
The ACC has looked good, and the Mountain West it hasn't looked great. But New Mexico, those guards, I can't wait to see that guard matchup tomorrow.
I mean, these are the 3 best teams left for the Mountain West, right?
I agree with that.
San Diego State, Utah State, and New Mexico.
Correct, yeah.
Those are the 3 that you would have said had a chance.
Yeah. I'm
right?
with
The
you.
regular season champs, team that got to the final game last year, and the team with really, really good guards.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah, I probably would have put Boise State in there, but that's like
you wouldn't.
Yeah, if it's San Diego State, then everybody else, I think.
I mean, again, New
I don't know that
Mexico's
I
got
agree with
high
that.
upside.
Yeah, New Mexico's a team that could go in and lose by 30 tomorrow, or they could win 3 games.
Right.
Like they're that type of team. They're that spurtable. That's why they're so scary.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're getting ready to wrap up the Field of 68 After Dark on Sirius XM. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to stick around, hang out with us. We're going to be here for about 10 more minutes. We got to talk about Drake and Washington State. We got to talk about the favorites, the big, heavy favorites that all rolled. Kentucky was the only top 3 seed that lost today, guys. Sorry, I just had to twist that knife just a little bit, Wildcat fans. Don't worry. We still got the bourbon over here for you. I will not be pouring that out.
I still want to hear who you want to hire at Kentucky next.
Field of 68 After Dark will be here. The Afters on YouTube coming up next. All right, we are clear. We are in the Afters. We're going to be here. We're going to keep this one short. We are going to be back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time, doing a pregame show in this exact same spot. Hopefully he'll have a voice. Hopefully Henson and I will be able to not be too hungover. All right? We'll find a way to make it work. We're going to get it together. Vegas sometimes gets the best of us. It's the best of.
I'm a well-oiled machine. I'm ready.
Henson's done this plenty.
So, true story. Henson was hanging out with some friends today, right? I texted him 30 minutes before the show. I was like, "Hey, man, we're going at 9." And he hits me back. He goes, "I'm a pro's pro. I'm here." I was like,
"Come on, man!
Where you looking, man?
Look,
where you popping up from?"
This is fun. So
Been there, done
to
that.
be in Vegas, talk basketball. I have my boys' bachelor party out here as well, so I hang with them during the day. We watch games. This is awesome. So,
And you want a little money today?
You know, I took my profit and put it on Texas Tech money line, but I'm up $800.
All right.
And I'm up a couple grand on the blackjack table as well.
Look
So
at that.
you made back what you lost last night.
Not yet. As I said, though, it's a long week. We'll be all right.
Yeah. All right. Drake, Washington State. Miles Rice, Washington State. They're going to advance. Kyle Smith. The team without a home, right? Do we know they're going to be in the Mountain West next year? Is that right?
I can't even keep track where they're going to be.
So
Like Notre Dame, there's going to be out there in the void.
So the football team is going to be in the Mountain West. The basketball team is going to be in the West Coast Conference.
in the West Coast Conference. Well, look, that is a team that you can root for, right? Kyle Smith is a guy that's won everywhere he's been at some really shitty jobs. Miles Rice is a kid that overcame non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, hasn't played in 2 years, and is out here dogging people. And, they get a shot at Iowa State next. Like, if you're going to be able to make a run, you got to be able to beat the big dogs. And Iowa State, I think they got a shot at this.
Of course they do.
I think that they can beat Iowa State.
They can. I don't know if they will, but, man, Kyle Smith, what he's done there is amazing.
If there's somebody who can figure it out offensively against Iowa State, I would say it's Kyle Smith.
Yeah, listen, it's their first, NCAA tournament win in forever.
Sure.
As a program. Isaac Jones, an Idaho transfer, is leading the way tonight. Really impressive.
I was just thinking about defensively. I was going to say maybe tomorrow, how many points is Longwood going to score against Houston? Over, under 40. That's what I was thinking in my head as you asked me.
I also heard Longwood's hotel accommodations, not good.
Yeah.
Not good, so they might not even get to 40. They've had bad hotel accommodations, per my sources.
What's going on?
Bad.
Where are they staying?
Well, what's going on?
They put them in a dump.
Are they in Memphis?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, there's a lot of bad hotels in Memphis.
Might be
Well, there's only one
stable.
hotel. You can stay in the Westin, which that's probably where the number one, that's probably where the top seats stay.
Right.
And that's it.
No, they might be in John Martin's house. That's the problem. Having to change diapers,
Take them
get
down
up in the middle of the night.
Take 'em down
Poor
to
Griff
Tupelo.
Aldrich.
Poor Griff Aldrich.
They're in that shed behind John Martin's house with the mower in it.
Well, look, hey, I will tell you this. Morehead State lost today, which means Longwood is going to follow in the tradition of Oral Roberts,
Oh, here we go.
St. Peter's, Fairleigh
loves
Dickinson, Longwood.
I just see how Houston defends Big 12 teams. I am worried for. And then Jeff says hotel accommodations.
That's it.
You might see.
Over.
I was going to chill tomorrow. I might start off with Houston and see how that goes.
What's the spread on that game?
25, maybe 24.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like that.
It's a lot.
I think
And Longwood wasn't good until the Big South tournament either.
Yeah. This isn't a good matchup for them.
Not a good matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
I want to talk about the heavy favorites at one. We saw Tennessee roll St. Peter's. We saw North Carolina. Wagner put up a better fight than I thought they were going to. North Carolina wins by 28. Arizona struggled a little bit early with Long Beach State and the Fighting Dan Monsons. They end up rolling them. Iowa State struggled a little bit with South Dakota State, but put them away in the second half. Creighton looked really good in the second half against Akron. And Illinois, close game early, again, pull away in the second half. Out of those 6 teams, Jeff, who were you most impressed by?
Read them again.
Tennessee, North Carolina, Arizona, Iowa State, Creighton, Illinois.
Maybe Iowa State. So I actually thought South Dakota State could make a run at them.
Tell the people what you did.
I bet a lot of money on South Dakota State. A lot of money. And I lost a lot of money on South Dakota State. So thanks, Eric Henderson.
So you fell into the first to 15 trap.
Yeah. I like it. You got to play along here. It's fun.
The first to 15 bet.
I treat Vegas like if you're on a diet, you have a cheat day. Vegas is a financial cheat day. We don't worry about things like that. We pick what we pick. Mm-hmm. Me and Jeff were on the tables last night. Did okay. Okay. But
my favorite part was there were like 4 straight underdogs that won the first to 15 bet, which is electric, by the way. Yeah. I don't know why anyone wouldn't just bet this every time that they're here. So he's like, I'm getting in on it. South Dakota State versus 15. And we look up, and it's Iowa State is up 15-2. And he's like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Fuck this. I'm not betting ever again.
I don't know. I was impressed because I thought Iowa State could come out and maybe lay a little bit of an egg after what they did in the Big 12 tournament, and they kept their foot on the gas. And what they've done all year has impressed me, so to see them do it again in the NCAA tournament, really impressive.
Just to throw out another team, I thought Creighton just exhibited what they've done all year, and that is defend and keep yourself in the game and then go on this explosive run in the second half that just puts you over the edge. They're just such a dangerous team. And the fact that they can go on these 12, 15, 16-point runs shows you why. If I'm playing Creighton, I'm nervous because you can never relax. Whether you're up 6 points, 8 points, you can't relax against this Creighton team because they're almost like an NBA team in the fact that 8 to 10 points is nothing, right? Like, obviously they're not an NBA team, but 8 to 10 points against Creighton is nothing because they can rattle off 4 threes like it's nothing at all. And they did that today against Akron. And Akron's well coached, and Enrique Freeman played well. It just obviously they're going up against a buzzsaw on this Blue Jays team.
Yeah, I liked what Tennessee did. There's something to say about just getting the job done, not making much noise. They wire to wire, put St. Pete in a chokehold and never let up. And sometimes that's more impressive to me than teams coming back and showing what they got. And I think that propelled them to a long run in the tournament. Just getting the job done. Today they look really good. Connect had 23, efficient. They look like a team that's been there before and is primed for a nice run.
This is going to sound like I'm just trying to kiss Trevor's ass. I was pretty impressed with Illinois.
Yes.
I mean, Marcus Domask going for a triple-double. Terrence Shannon put the team on his back in the first half. I think he had 19 in the first, 12 minutes or something like that. I thought that in the second half specifically, they kind of figured out what Morehead State was doing and they took up a level up on the defensive end of the floor. They are just – I just know I'm going to be like way too in love with them every game that they play the rest of this tournament. Because when you see them and they play their best, they just look so damn unstoppable. Man, like Terrence Shannon, when he gets a lane to the rim, if he can get downhill, what are you going to do? Like he's a
nobody else like him in college basketball right now. Nobody.
No, like you have no chance when he gets downhill to his left.
And they usually, as of late, it seems like they've surged in the second half. They're going to eventually play well in the first half, soon. So I think right now they're at a place right now where they're going to cause some problems because they've been a second half team this last few weeks. They're going to start off well one day, and you hope it, whoever runs up against them, the higher seeds, better hope it's not the day it's against them. So they're fun to watch.
Anyone else?
Goodman? Arizona, 5 guys in double figures, moving the ball. Kylan Boswell was really good.
Really good second half.
Really good second half, Arizona.
All right,
one step closer to the UNC. Caleb Love, R.J. Davis, mano y mano.
You want that bad.
Oh, my.
Bad.
I think everybody wants that.
I want that.
That's going to be so intense.
Yes.
All right, so we got one question that I'm going to ask, and then we're going to toast tonight. But before we do, we have the tip times, and we have the schedule for what we're going to get on Saturday, okay? At the first tip of the day, 9:45 Eastern time, which I guess is 12:15 Eastern. Arizona and Dayton is going to be the first day of the game of the day on Saturday. Second game of the day is going to be Iowa State and Washington. Then you get Gonzaga and Kansas is also on Big CBS. Michigan State, North Carolina. This thing is all messed up. Why is this so out of order? Let me restart this, okay? We have first game of the day, Dayton, Arizona. Second game of the day, Gonzaga and Kansas. Then you'll have at 5:30 Eastern time, Michigan State, North Carolina. A 5:30 tip on a Saturday. That'll be a fun game. The second round is when things get really interesting, all right? We'll have Washington State, Iowa State coming up after that. Duquesne's playing Illinois. Oakland's playing NC State. Texas is playing Tennessee. And the nightcap will be Oregon.
Rick Barnes Bowl.
How about this? Oregon and Creighton.
It's going to be a fun.
The Dana Altman Bowl. So we have Dana Altman facing his former team.
Yes.
We have Rick Barnes facing his former team. Jerry McDermott trying to get over the hump against Dana Altman. So that'll be fun. All right, I'm going to put you guys on the spot. We talked about John Calipari earlier. Jeff Goodman asked me who I would hire. I want to know from each one of you guys, if you were Mitch Barnhart, and let's just say the decision is made and you move on from John Calipari, who are you guys going to hire? Goodman, I know what your answer is going to be. Why don't you say it while these guys have a chance to think?
Bruce Pearl. Easy answer. Easy answer for me. Because his buyout is reasonable. It's not insane. So I'm going to tell you guys you can't hire because their buyouts are too high. You can't hire T.J. Otzelberger. Buyout $17 million. You can't hire Nate Oates. His buyout he re-signed $17 million.
Can I, real quick, while you're on this
Sure.
point, if you're paying a $33 million buyout for John Calipari, why can't you afford a $17 million buyout for another
You're not
coach?
going to. You can't. You just paid $33 million. You're not going to afford another $17 million. Hard enough to get to that $33 million. So Bruce Pearl's probably in the $6-7 million range. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. So to me, Bruce Pearl, Scott Drew just re-signed with Baylor. So you're not getting Scott Drew. Although his buyout, I don't know what it is yet. We don't know. He hasn't finished the deal with Baylor. So if you want to say Scott Drew, you could. But for me, it's an easy one. Bruce Pearl fits Lexington perfectly.
I would see if there's mutual interest with Billy Donovan. I understand he's in Chicago, but like
you follow the NBA. He's not getting fired. They're in the playing game right now.
Yep, I
and
know.
He's owed a ton of money.
But Chicago's kind of stuck in no man's land. Is he happy there? Is that what you want to do? Kentucky's Kentucky.
It is. He turned down Kentucky. He's turned it down before. He's in a different place in his life now with his kids being older. I think his wife told him last time something to the effect of, if you go to Kentucky, I won't be joining you. So that might be different now.
Long shot, just off the top of my head, don't know if this is realistic, but try to go get Kelvin Sampson. What if you put Sampson's guys in the Kentucky jersey? Holy shit. It'd be scary.
Yeah, he's a little bit older. I just don't know if at this point. Now, again, if he went, then his kid, Kellen, he would take over at Houston. So it would be a win-win for him in a way. But I think Kelvin's at a point in his career when, honestly, I'm not even sure he'd want to go to.
It's a win-now spot. Like, there's not many guys that could even, it's going to be tough. Which means Cal will probably be there.
Maybe. Again,
you think they were fired with nobody in mind?
Here's one for you. I'm not saying this would happen. It's too big of a jump. But the athletic director at Sanford is a guy named Martin Newton. He hired Bucky McMillan. Martin Newton was the guy who was pivotal in hiring John Calipari at Kentucky years ago, and the son of C.M. Newton, the Kentucky great. So there's some connections there. I don't think Martin – and Mitch Barnhart is on his way out as the AD. Just a matter of when he retires. Again, don't think he'd bring Bucky McMillan with him, but Bucky, in a way, in a few years, might be good for a place like Kentucky.
What's a bigger step up? High school basketball to Sanford or Sanford to Kentucky?
They're both big. It's
a big step.
Yeah.
The name that I would hire is Sean Miller. That's where I would go. Because I think what you need more than anything else is a ball coach, someone that's going to come in and is going to take the pieces that you have on that roster and coach them up to a certain level, right? I know we didn't have a great year this year. That's what happens when your entire starting front court goes down for the entire season before the season even starts. It is what it is. I think that he proved what he can be when he was at Arizona. He got to Elite Eight twice. If Frank Kaminsky doesn't exist, Sean Miller's in back-to-back Final Fours, and we're having a very different conversation about him. I think that the FBI stuff is far enough in the past that no one gives a damn about it anymore. And I think that he will be able to get the level of recruit that you expect. He plays a style of basketball that works in the modern era, and he understands how to hit the transfer portal. He's hit it 2 years in a row at Xavier, crushed it his first year back at Xavier. This last season, he did well, but again, when you lose your entire front line, there's only so much that you're going to be able to do.
And he's been much better with the media since he got back. Since he came to Field of 68, he's been much better with the media.
We made him.
We made him.
We made
You're
him
welcome, Sean.
A media darling.
Yes.
It's like credit repair. Field of 68 credit repair.
Here's the question.
We did it with you.
Yeah, here we go.
Goodman, we talked about this earlier. I want Henson's opinion on this. Do you think that Dan Hurley could work as the head coach at Kentucky? Because that's the name that all Kentucky fans want, and that's the name that everyone's going to link there.
I'm seeing these interviews where he's sitting in the offices, 4 trophies with nets all around him, lean back, chilling. He's not going nowhere.
No. I actually think it's a bad fit. Yeah. I think it's a bad fit.
As good of a fit as he is with UConn, it's as bad of a fit as he would be with Kentucky.
Yeah, I just think, again, Dan Hurley in Lexington could really backfire. It could really backfire. Now, again, he's a hell of a coach, so he can win at the highest level consistently. But the one thing John Calipari did well was, even throughout all the criticism, he never lost his cool. He's never lost his cool. Imagine Dan Hurley going through right now what John Calipari goes through. How would he react to that?
Not great.
He'd have to paint a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
Right?
The flip side would be he's a good enough coach that he wouldn't go through all this, but there would be something that would like he is what UConn fans are. And I say this as someone that's a UConn fan, right? They're out of their minds. They're crazy. They have that same kind of New York, like, fuck you, like, talk some shit. But when he walks up to the crowd and is like, yeah, come out here, see what happens. You'll get hurt, I promise. Most fan bases would be like, you can't do that. You're the basketball coach. And UConn fans are like, yeah, that's right. You will get hurt. Dan Hurley, you'll beat the shit out of you. Like, he fits there. I don't think that stuff would work as well in Kentucky. When it's a fishbowl in Connecticut, it's the fishbowl times a million living in living in Kentucky as a Kentucky head coach. All right. I think it's time to get out of here. We've been on for about an hour and 15 minutes. Henson is asleep over there sitting down. T.O. can't talk anymore. Goodman's already complaining about having to do the show tomorrow morning. So let's get to our toasts of the night. Henson, we'll go to you first, man. Who are we drinking to?
My toast of the night is you guys. This has been a long day. I've been running around Vegas, watching games.
Gallivanting around Vegas.
I've been playing blackjack. I mean, I've had a day. So toast to you guys for being here. Day one. We're just getting started.
I'm in Oakland. How do you not toast them?
Right.
Greg Campy, Gohlke, all those guys, man, they deserve it. They played a hell of a game. That's one they're never going to forget, and nobody's going to forget.
Duquesne, Dambrot on his way out. Get you a win. Hopefully they can keep it going.
All right. I'm going to give 2 then. All right. We're going to say that Oakland, you already covered Jack Gohlke, right? My first toast is going to go to Marcus Domask, the guy that Jeff Goodman said would never be able to impact a game the way that he did against FAU ever again. Had a triple-double today. He continues to prove Jeff Goodman wrong every single day of his life. Shout out to you, Marcus Domask. I will drink to proving Jeff Goodman wrong. And also Jermaine Cusnard. 40 points, 5 assists. Now in the same conversation as Steph Curry, and he did it against his former team. How do you not love that? Listen, this has been the Field of 68 After Dark. We'll be back again tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific. That's going to be early as hell here in Las Vegas. And After Dark every day this week, somewhere around midnight. It might be midnight. It might be 12:15. It might be 11:45. It all depends kind of on how the games turn out and how they end.
And when Henson gets off the blackjack table.
There will be a combination of us all week.
Yes. People will be here. We'll be talking. Something will happen. A stream will exist. You will get your content. Until then,